The humid Florida air hung heavy that morning, a typical July day in 2010. Ben McDaniel, 30 years old, stood by the edge of Vortex Spring in Ponce de Leon. He was a man drawn to the depths, to the silent, alien world beneath the surface, a world few dared to truly explore. Vortex Spring, a popular swimming hole, hides a sinister secret beneath its clear, inviting waters, a vast, complex, and deadly cave system that plunges hundreds of feet into the earth. Ben had moved from Memphis to be closer to this very darkness. He was obsessed, determined to conquer the depths of Vortex. He worked at the local dive shop, spending his spare hours preparing for, or recovering from, his deep cave penetrations. He'd earned his full cave diving certification, but even with that training, the spring had claimed lives, at least a dozen before Ben arrived. Its passages were tight, disorienting, and prone to silting out, turning visibility to zero in an instant. Yet Ben found a strange solace there, a challenge that called to him with an almost spiritual pull. On July 15, 2010, Ben arrived at Vortex Spring in his Jeep, a routine he knew well. He checked in, signed the liability waiver, a chilling formality for what lay ahead, and began assembling his formidable array of gear: twin tanks, stage bottles, reels of line, powerful lights, the tools of a deep cave explorer. He spoke briefly with a few other divers, a quick nod, a shared understanding of the risks. No one reported anything out of the ordinary, no premonition, no sign that this particular descent would be different from any other. He was calm, focused, methodical. Just Ben, preparing for another plunge into the Earth's watery veins. He entered the cool, clear water and descended. The entrance to the cave, a dark maw in the limestone, swallowed him whole. From the surface, all that remained was the gentle ripple of the spring, reflecting the Florida sky, utterly oblivious to the silent drama unfolding below. Hours passed. Then, the sun began its slow descent. Other divers surfaced, packed up, and left. But Ben's Jeep remained in the parking lot. His dive flag, a red rectangle with a white diagonal stripe, still bobbed patiently on the surface, a solitary sentinel. When night fell, and Ben still hadn't resurfaced, panic began to set in. Two employees of Vortex Spring, a diver named Eduardo Taran and his boss, the owner of the spring, Lowell Kelly, decided to investigate. They descended into the cave, following the main line Ben was known to use. They navigated the claustrophobic passages, their powerful lights cutting through the inky blackness. They found Ben's main dive tanks, weighted and meticulously placed, just inside the cave entrance at a depth of about 85 feet. This was unusual. Divers typically exit with their primary tanks, or at least leave them further in as a stage. But the tanks were empty, implying they had been used, then left behind. Further in, at 140 feet, they found a hammer and chisel. This was even stranger. There was no clear reason for these tools to be there. And then, the most unsettling discovery: two more full dive tanks, apparently Ben's, were found just beyond a restricted passage, one that required specialized training and a smaller build to navigate. These tanks were not just placed, they had been wedged into a narrow fissure, almost as if someone had tried to block the passage, or perhaps hide them. The dive computer Ben was wearing was also missing. The only thing truly gone was Ben himself. News of Ben's disappearance spread quickly. His family, particularly his parents, Shelby and Sherry McDaniel, rushed to Vortex Spring. They brought in experienced cave rescue teams, including legendary diver Ed Sorensen, who specialized in body recovery from these treacherous environments. Sorensen scoured every inch of the known cave system, pushing into passages so tight he had to remove his tanks to squeeze through. He found nothing, no body, no trace of Ben. The cave was empty. But what about the wedged tanks and the hammer and chisel? As the official search wound down, the mystery only deepened. Ben's family refused to give up, funding private searches. Strange details began to emerge from the periphery of the investigation. There were reports of Ben having recently purchased a large, expensive safe, only to return it days before his disappearance. There were hushed rumors of Ben showing others a hidden journal, detailing his experiences and potentially some troubling encounters. Most unsettling were the conflicting statements from employees and regulars at Vortex Spring. Some claimed Ben had been acting erratically, others insisted he was completely normal. The owner, Lowell Kelly, maintained that Ben had simply gone too deep, become disoriented, and succumbed to the cave's unforgiving embrace. But his family suspected something far more sinister. The theories began to proliferate, each more unsettling than the last. Was it an accident? Did Ben simply misjudge the cave, run out of air, and his body become irretrievable, hidden in an unexplored crevice? Many divers have met this fate. Was it suicide? The idea that Ben, facing personal struggles, chose the depths of the cave as his final resting place was a dark possibility, though his family vehemently denied it. The most chilling theory, however, revolved around foul play. The missing dive computer, the strategically placed tanks, the hammer and chisel, the conflicting statements. It all painted a picture that suggested Ben might have encountered someone else in the dark, silent world beneath the spring. Some speculated he discovered something he shouldn't have. Others wondered if he was deliberately trapped, or worse, if his disappearance was staged to look like a diving accident. The fact that his primary tanks were found empty at the entrance, while 2 full tanks were found further in and wedged, seemed to defy logic for an accidental death. Why would he ditch full tanks and continue on, only to leave more tanks even deeper? And why the hammer and chisel? To this day, Ben McDaniel has never been found. The cave has been meticulously searched, sealed off, and still, it yields no answers. The dark, cold waters of Vortex Spring guard their secrets with an unyielding grip. Was Ben McDaniel simply a victim of the cave's inherent dangers, his body lost forever in its labyrinthine passages? Or did something else happen in the silent, suffocating blackness, an encounter with a darkness far more human than the cave itself? The question lingers, a chilling echo in the depths, forever unanswered, forever unsettling.